Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku, back with another video. And today I'm going to be doing Dragon Ball Super Episode 32 review. And we're going to get into this because there was a lot of things that happened to this episode. Very different, a lot of changes. It was a very interesting episode. I really liked it, but at the same time, there were some things that just didn't add up that we're going to get into in this episode. But before we get into the review, I just want to take this time to tell people, for anyone who has not watched my reviews before, that we take it the English version. I only watched the English version, and we treat this review as if this is the first time we watch Super in general. So no spoilers from the Japanese version, as I've explained this for all my reviews. And I'm also adding something as well, because I have lately, for my reviews, have seen very, very ignorant comments from people, from subtitle biased elitist fans. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, if I see any of those comments from anyone, they will be reported to YouTube and they will be removed. And you will be blocked from this channel. I'm not putting up with it anymore. So unless you have something nice to say, like, I don't want to hear anything about, oh, Bruce Falconer is shit, or you know, my, love for Falconer is wrong, or that I should watch it in subtitle, or I don't want to hear any of this anymore. I'm sticking straight to this episode. I'm done with the trolls. I'm done with the stupid, idiotic bullcrap that is comparing the Japanese music, Dragon Ball Z, to Falconer's music, even though Falconer's music is 100 times better than any of the music so far. But we're not going to talk about that because this is not about Bruce Falconer or the Japanese music. It is my take on the episode that is Dragon Ball Super. So if any of those comments ever appear on any of my videos, any of these reviews from here on out, your comment will be removed and you will be blocked from this channel, because I'm not putting up with it anymore. I want actual comments about the episode, not this ridiculous whole dub music, subtitle garbage arguments. Because we are reviewing the English dub. We are not reviewing the subtitle version or the Japanese version. So I'm going to try to keep that as plain and simple. Constructive criticism is always good, but when you take it to the point where you're borderline cyberbullying me because of my view on how I like Dragon Ball Z, then I don't want to even look at your comment. I'm just going to have it reported to YouTube, and your channel will get taken down by YouTube for cyberbullying. I've had enough of this. So that's what I'm going to say about this whole stuff. So let's get into the review of this episode, which is episode 32, which was very good. In the previous episode, we found out what the Super Dragon Balls were all about. They gave a little recap about it. With, Zunos, telling Bulma and, Jocko, that the Super Dragon Balls are only in Universe 6 and 7, that there's only one set, and they're all scattered across both universes. So, very, very, self-explanatory. These Super Dragon Balls are actually the size of a planet. They're actually bigger than planet Earth, apparently. So, it's very, very informative. So, yeah. Anyways, so this episode starts off in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. Vegeta and Goku are, fighting each other. They're training and sparring. Ironically enough, they are wearing, there's nothing really to go on their training. They're just training as usual, just sparring. But the thing that really noticed me about this scene was the gloves. That was the one thing I noticed about that for anyone who hadn't paid attention. Goku was wearing red gloves, and Vegeta was wearing blue gloves, and they were UFC gloves. They didn't have the UFC logo on there because obviously that's copyright, but they had Whis' logo on there. But they were basically structured the same way the UFC has their MMA gloves on, which I thought was very interesting. Goku was wearing red gloves, which the red gloves are for the champion, by the way, and Vegeta was wearing the blue gloves, which are the challenger gloves, for anyone who doesn't really follow any of the UFC concept. Basically, anybody who wears the red gloves are supposed to always be the champion, and the blue gloves are for the challenger. Obviously, if it's an exhibition match, that's different, but if it's a championship match, the person that's the champion always wears the red gloves. So I thought that was kind of funny that they gave it to Goku, because obviously we all know Goku's the main man, and he is the hope of the universe. Our favorite superhero over here, my number one superhero. Just met Sean Schimmel last week, so still pumped about that, by the way. And I met Christopher Sabat as well. So anyways, yeah. So that happens. They're all done, and, while they're just kind of calming down, Vegeta had mentioned something really interesting that had never been mentioned in Dragon Ball Z before, and that was the fact that Saiyans basically can look young until 80, apparently. So I thought that was kind of a little eye candy type thing right there. For us, to know that basically Goku and Vegeta and all Saiyans will look young until they're 80 years old, and then they'll start getting old. Then again, it kind of sort of makes sense because, Saiyans don't get tall until, they're, in their high teens, I guess. Because remember, Goku, at 13 was still had a kid size. And then, of course, he started growing, later on. So, it's kind of how Saiyans grow. So, yeah. While this is going on, Whis is basically showing all the Z Fighters and their loved ones, where they're going to be traveling into. They do this whole, it's this whole, see-through thing, Whis examples, that you just go right into it, and that's how you get in. And while this is happening, Goku and Vegeta get there, they're all beat up, all their clothes are all kind of wrecked, and then, they have beards on, which looked really weird, especially on Goku. Vegeta kind of looked okay, but for Goku, it just kind of looked weird of him having a beard. Of course, Whis gave them time to shower and get new clothes on. Well, I'm assuming Whis healed them, because he has the power to heal people instantly. So, I'm sure they did that off screen. But they showered up and they shaved those beards off, which is good because they just look nasty. I'm glad they got rid of those beards. They actually trained a lot longer than they previously had said. They said they were going to only train for about 3 days, which, by the way, for anybody who watched Dragon Ball Z, that's a plot hole in itself, because Goku had said during the Cell Saga that the most you can train in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber is 2 days, and Goku and Vegeta obviously trained in there much longer. They were planning on training there for 3 days, which already maxed out the limit, which would be 3 years in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, by the way. It's like 1 day is 1 year in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. 1 Earth Day is 1 year in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, for a recap for anyone who forgot about that in Dragon Ball Z. So 3 years for 3 Earth Days, which actually ended up being a week, so they ended up training for a week according to this episode. That means they were in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber for 7 years, which for them to only have a beard, is actually kind of interesting, actually. A small beard, the way they had it. Now thinking about it. But after that happens, they get into the little box thing, and they basically then travel to Beerus's planet. That's where they go first. And also, the Galactic Patrolman is there as well. He said he wasn't going to miss it. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that they also brought the king of Galactic Patrolmen, and Bulma kind of just acted casually about it. And, Jocko had to, say, oh, that's how Earthlings always, do it with important people or whatnot. So there was kind of that funny type thing going on as well. So they all travel to Beerus's planet, and Beerus is, he's basically coming out, and he's got Numaku, who's this new character. He's supposed to be this big new character. I was like, obviously I've seen the Toonami previews, so I kind of already knew what the character looked like, and obviously I was disappointed with this new Numaku character. He was obviously, I thought it was going to be some really cool character or something. No, it's just this little pink blob thing, or not pink blob, that's Majin Buu, but it's this pink, like, I don't even know what you call this thing, but he's short, he's got big nipples, and he even says that for some reason. Goku's just intrigued by him because he's supposed to be the closest, strongest thing to Beerus, and so he wants to fight him, and Beerus is telling him, no, you can't fight him, focus on your guys, and the guys that you have to fight. And Goku, being intrigued as he is, he decides to punch him, and Goku expected him to dodge, but he doesn't, and he takes the hit, and Numaku starts crying, and I was like, this was my WTF moment, because I was like, I was expecting, because the first thing I thought of was like, okay, this character, he looks like a shitty character, but I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be one of those characters where it's like, okay, he's stronger than he looks. He's one of those characters where he's stronger than he looks. He's a character that you wouldn't think is stronger than anybody, but he is. And then when Goku actually successfully punched him and he started crying, I was like, what are they doing? What are they doing? Like, this is not a good character at all. And I was very displeased with this Numaku guy. There could be some stuff that comes up later on, but right now, to me, this was like a burial. Like, I don't even see anything good about this character whatsoever. And to say that Beerus says that this guy is stronger than the number one superhero right here, Goku, the hope of the universe, is just kind of ridiculous. Like, Goku basically took him out in one punch, no puns intended, but he did, and he cried like a little baby. So sorry if I think this guy is not worthy to be on this team, Beerus. So yeah, not looking forward to that. Goku apologizes because he thought he was gonna dodge and he didn't, and Beerus, gave him this whole talk. You're not supposed to do that. Are you brain dead or whatever? And Goku was just apologizing, sorry, he thought he was gonna dodge, and then Namaku's like, okay. And so then they, are off to the tournament site. They arrive at the tournament site. The first people they see, I believe, was Supreme Kai there. And Kibito was also there. And this was another interesting hole of a plot that was introduced today in Dragon Ball Super. because according to the Dragon Ball Z continuity, once you are fused for good. But Supreme Kai, well, not, I mean, with the, the earrings and stuff, the earring fusion, they said that Supreme Kai had claimed that, well, we went to Planet Namek and used their Dragon Balls to wish for us to be defused. And this, I know this is going to be an easy explanation, but it isn't, because this is a plot hole. Because the Namek Dragon Balls were just used for the Frieza arc to get Piccolo back to life. So this is a plot hole, because in the Battle of Gods arc, they were fused together still. So this doesn't make sense at all. I mean, I guess it's possible that the Namek Dragon Balls were already reset by that point. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Planet Namek's 1 year calendar is about 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go back and look at that, because there's a lot of things that made me think after this episode. There was a lot of thinking in this episode. I actually taped this episode, which is actually good, because I could rewind, some stuff that didn't make sense to me at first, before I could make the connection. But I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Namek was like a 6-month year calendar, and that's the only way I could see that being possible. But still, I mean, the Dragon Balls, resetting, so in time, so they could, wish Piccolo back, to me seems kind of far-fetched. So that to me was a big plot hole. I guess maybe not a big plot hole, but a minor plot hole, I guess. But still, nonetheless, it's a plot hole. I mean, the only thing we have ever seen the porcelain fusion not working correctly or being nullified was being in Majin Buu's tummy. That's the only time we've seen the fusion be nullified. So, and obviously that never really was explained, as it was one of those things that was always up in the air to begin with. So maybe they're not as permanent as we thought they were, because obviously if they're in Majin Buu's tummy, they can, a portion of the fusion can be canceled out. Yeah, but by the time they got out, Vegeta already broke his one, so they couldn't, fuse back together once they got out. So, and then the Dragon Balls, I guess, can just, defuse them. So I guess that can be their explanation if they ever do decide to have anybody use the porcelain fusion again, if that's still a thing. But we'll find out about that out later. Right now, let's move on. So, Universe 6 team also appeared. They also had their own Supreme Kai from Universe 6, and Goku actually guessed them being the Universe 6 Supreme Kais. Also, I want to also bring up another plot hole, and that was older Kai, who does not have a halo, but this has been a plot hole for a while now. He does not have a halo. For anyone who doesn't remember, he sacrificed himself for Goku. Goku basically was dead from the Cell Saga, but Goku couldn't be wished back from the Earth Dragon Balls, because he'd been already wished back once during the Raditz, or during the Saiyan Saga, during that whole thing with Raditz and Piccolo using the special beam cannon. So he couldn't be wished back. So what older Kai did was he took Goku's place. So he was dead and Goku was alive now. So the only way older Kai could have come back is if they used Namek's Dragon Balls again. Now, this would have made sense for the whole thing earlier we brought up about the whole porcelain defusion for Supreme Kai. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense at all because we seen in Battle of Gods, Supreme Kai fused, and we seen older Kai not dead or doesn't have a halo. So that's the problem. So unless they did this, before they went to Namek for another time, to get him wished back to life, then this is just another plot hole in itself. So yeah. So that's all brought up. Then also, the Z Fighters that are watching are complaining about the seats, not being, having cushions on them and stuff like that. So Whis actually fixes the seats. Champa complains about it, but then eventually stops. Beerus also mentions to Champa that they've been lying, that there's only one set of Super Dragon Balls, and you've been sneaking around in my universe to collect Dragon Balls that are in my universe. So there was that, because Bulma, I guess, told Beerus for some reason, even though she's scared of Beerus right now, of wishing to wipe out existence. So, yeah, that happened. So then after that, we see Universe 6, which had Golden Teddy Bear, Brown Robot, a guy that looks like Frieza, only blue and white, and then a Saiyan. That's Champa's team. The Saiyan person, I'm not sure who the voice actor was. It was clearly a guy voice actor. I'll have to look it up, but I thought it was an okay performance. But we don't really know much about the character, so it's not really a judgmental thing at this point. But I just wanted to bring that up. I gotta really look at some of these. It's kind of hard to look at all these new voice actors when they're being introduced to the characters literally right in the screen. So I'll have to look it up afterwards. But I thought it was a okay performance. It's probably a newer guy, or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's an older guy. I don't know, or not older guy. I mean, older Funimation voice actor, I should say, not older guy. Because a lot of people get confused by that. I'm not sure if it's a newer voice actor for Funimation, or if it's, like I said, a veteran type Funimation voice actor, because it just all depends on who Funimation and Christopher Sabat and those guys. I'm sure Funimation has a say in some of this stuff too, because this is their title. But Sabat has a lot of influence on who gets casted for a lot of these new characters. But anyways, he confronts Vegeta and Goku, and he basically talks about, hey, you guys Saiyans too? And Vegeta asks, yeah. And then they brought up something about planet Saburn or something, I believe it was called. And that was the original planet, apparently, in Universe 7, because Vegeta said, oh, that was our original planet, but we lost it in a civil war, so we conquered another planet, which was Planet Plant, and they renamed it Planet Vegeta, for anyone who doesn't know that story. But I didn't know about the this home planet that they had that got destroyed for a Silver War. In Battle of Gods, they kind of talked about a Silver War, essentially, in the movie. They didn't really go in detail about it, though. They just talked about how it was the good Saiyans versus the bad Saiyans. The bad Saiyans eventually won, and I guess that's what led to the birth of Planet Vegeta. Now, this new guy, Saiyan, from Universe 6, actually got defensive about this because, because he said that he conquered it, and apparently in their universe, the Saiyans are actually hired to save people. They're actually like a justice-type group. They fight for justice or whatever, or they get paid to fight for justice. Goku also asks the new Saiyan where's his tail, and the new Saiyan looked confused about this because apparently in Universe 6 there are no monkey tails. So that's another different thing, and Vegeta's like, it must be just like how their Earth's different from ours, since Earth doesn't exist. Like I said, there wasn't that much to go on about the new characters. Like I said, the guy that looked like Frieza, the robot, the yellow teddy bear, and then I believe the other guy. They didn't really say that much about him, the purple guy, but I believe his name is Hits. Because I've played, obviously, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, and I believe that was Hits. But that's really all I have to go on some of these until we really get a formal introduction to these new characters. After this all ended, basically what they did was they had to take the martial arts test. And the first thing I thought about this was, how is Goku going to pass this? Because, obviously, even though Goku is the superhero, the main man, the hope of the universe, he isn't that bright when it comes to education. So that was the first thing I was thinking about when they were taking this test. And Goku was actually reading out his answers and the questions and stuff like that. It seems like Goku needed an accommodation for someone to read the test for him. I would have liked to see Goku get one. He should get an accommodation, damn it. He's Goku's the hope of the universe. Anyways, while this test is being taken, Majin Buu falls asleep, and he's basically out of the tournament because he can't wake up. So, Buu, you are not getting your wish. But don't worry, because you have Hercule, doing his stupid thing, because of course he's just gonna take the credit. Y'all know Hercule's just gonna take Majin Buu's spot, or he's gonna claim he took Majin Buu's spot, and he's gonna just say, I defeated Universe 6 because I'm an asshole that likes taking credit even though I suck. We all know Hercule's gonna do that. He even made a joke about that when they were going on there. Like, yeah, Hercule, you're not funny. Yeah. I hate Hercule so bad. He made some stupid pun, like, when they were, like, going there. I was just like, you're not funny, Hercule. You're freaking stupid. I wish Hercule would die. Like, I wish someone would kill Hercule. Even if they end up wishing him back with the Dragon Balls, I just want to see him die once. Everyone in this series has died at least once. Hercule needs to die. Okay? He just needs to die. Like, I want him to die, and I want to see the humans see him die. So then they can start booing his ass. Like, that would be that would be my fantasy plan. Right there. So, what else? After that, Beerus is all pissed, and he's like, you have to find a replacement. And then Whis is like, we have to set up our lineup now. So, on the list, there's one less person on Team Universe 7 right now at the moment. I don't know if they're going to get somebody in time, because don't they have to take a test? So, I don't exactly know if they're going to get someone new. I guess they could call Gohan at the last second, but then again, he said he can't make it because he doesn't care about fighting. He says he's got to protect everybody, but then, like, he says, well, I can't help you because, like, I got this work meeting I gotta do, and so, like, yeah, okay, Gohan. And of course, you know, he got rid of his cool hairdo again. The hairdo that actually makes him look more like Team Gohan and makes him look more realistic to what he should look like, but I digressed. You know. Anyways, so then they picked the first group of fighters, and it ends up being our Hope of the Universe, Goku, starting it off against the Golden Teddy Bear guy. So I don't know how long this episode, or I don't know how long this fight will last, but I think Goku's gonna take him out easily. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I think Goku's just gonna like go Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, and just boom takes him out, like, you know, because that's what Goku does. He's the main man, the superhero. He's all ready to go. Yeah. They are standing, you know, staring each other down in the tournament ring. And then they ring the bell, and the match starts, and the episode then ends. So that is how the episode ends. So Goku versus the Golden Teddy Bear is next. Goku's going to take out that teddy bear, by the way. Or that golden bear thing, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So a lot of new things. I wonder if the Saiyan can go Super Saiyan, though. I'm pretty sure she's got it. Like, or he's got to. I'm sorry. He's got to. He's got to go Super Saiyan. Because, like, it makes sense. Like, I'm sure they couldn't have changed that in the universe, right? It couldn't have changed that in the universe, in Universe 6, right? Like, Super Saiyan has to be the same. So, I mean, I know they don't have the same tails in Universe 6, but the Saiyans got to be the same. Got to be the Super Saiyan got to be the same whole concept. So that's what I'm assuming from this guy, whatever his name is. We'll see what happens with him in the coming episodes, and who he's fighting. He's probably gonna fight Vegeta. Well, I'm imagining he's got to be like the prince or whatever, just like Vegeta is. But we'll see. Like I said, there's a lot of plot holes in this episode, but it was a very interesting episode, very informative episode, and you know, it was good. So that's about it. Comment, rate if you like this video or any of my other videos. Please subscribe. I have all my other reviews that I've done in the past in my playlist. And also, what do you guys think of the new voice actors for some of these new characters? I haven't looked them up yet, but I thought they were overall pretty good for these characters. It looks like, I mean, I can't judge a book by its cover, but I'm assuming the Universe 6 Saiyan is a kid or a teenager because he isn't that big. So that's what I'm assuming. But again, I don't know. But I think he was casted pretty good where he's at. So let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about how the episode went? And comment, rate if you like this video and my other videos. Again, please subscribe, and that's about it. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace.